What is up, boyos? It is Water Buffalo Man, and you're back for more Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Alright, so we're going to be taking on the BROLY stage of the Ultimate Red Zone Movie Edition 2. So the original BROLY from the Legendary Super Saiyan fights, not the BROLY from Dragon Ball Super. So we're going to be taking that team on, well, that stage on, with the Ginyu Force. No item run. We're going to see if we can do it with no items. I did it before with no items, but we're going to see if we can actually do it on screen with no items. So let's just jump right in with the Ginyu Force and see if the Ginyu Force can do it. Let's see who is better, Ginyu Force or BROLY. I'm putting my money on the Ginyu Force, but we'll see. Yes, I am running the support memory for that extra 15%, but that's not going to make a huge difference when it comes down to the wire. I don't believe so, at least. So let's run this and see what happens. Get supered slot 1. Alright, perfect. Good choice by putting them there, because they have the guaranteed guard and they build their attack and defense every time they get hit, so that was actually probably one of my best choices to put them in that spot. Let's see. Alright. I think we'll be alright this first rotation. My goal is to get the Ginyus on rotation, the LR into Ginyu plus the AGL Ginyu, the leader, on one rotation, and the other rotation I want to have probably the dual LRs is what I'm thinking. The LR Fizz Ginyu with these two that are right here side by side. I probably want them side by side, I would have to say. Or the Goku Ginyu and one of these other Ginyus here. So let's go with, we'll put mine in slot 1 because I trust mine a little more than I do the randoms. I did in fact get the Ginyu Force LR. I did happen to pull them the other day. I got them to 69%. So we're going to run with those guys. But yeah, my bet's probably going to be to have the Ginyus together, these two, and then the other leader Ginyu, AGL, with probably the Tech Ginyu or with the Raccoon Goldo in slot 1. Raccoon Goldo slot 1 because they have that high defense and guard, and then putting the Ginyu in slot 2 would probably be the best case scenario for that team, for that rotation, should I say. Triple super from Ginyu already, so that's 3 defensive stacks beginning stage, which is fantastic. And he already wiped out BROLY. Cool, great. That's 1 stage now. I think this is a 3 or 4 stage fight. I'm not entirely sure. This is one of the better rotations. We want to let Raccoon Goldo get hit, so we'll actually probably do that. Also, if you don't know, for those of you that are new and haven't ran this Ginyu team before, these guys actually are a support unit. Both LRs technically are support units for Ginyu Force. These guys give key 30% to attack and defense for Extreme Class, plus additional 29 for Ginyu Force allies, so he gives 59% attack and defense to Ginyu Force, whereas this one gives key 3 and 30%, right? Yes. All allies key 3 and 30%. And then this one here as well does something similar. Special pose categories, key, or no key at all, attack and defense is 25% when he gets a rainbow or int key sphere. So them getting the rainbow and int last turn kind of carried over to this turn, so these guys are 25% stronger than they normally would, plus the additional 30% from the Fizz LR Ginyu at the very end. So the team is actually pretty good. I could say this Ginyu Force is probably one of the better teams in Dokkan at the moment, honestly. With how well you can build, if you can build this team, let's see, they just super, yeah, they're eating attacks. And this is, again, only no damage reduction, nothing activated right now, literally just the 15% support memory, which doesn't translate to a whole lot early on in the fight. 15% isn't that much, and with these guys double supering, they both raise attack and defense on their super attacks, both the Raccoon and Goldo and the Jason Birder. If I remember right, they both stack attack and defense, and these guys get stronger each time they super attack. So that's kind of really nice. So with them double supering right there, as well as raising their attack and defense on their supers, they get a little bit from their passive, they get an additional 30% each. So they actually quite well built up their stats right there. Alright, now, this is going to be a good rotation for us. So this guy has, oh, not you, my bad, this one, actually has a nice passive, well, active skill. So special pose, special fighting pose. Can be activated when all allies are Ginyu Force categories starting from the 3rd turn, from the entry's turn, or when they're special pose. It gives all allies attack and defense of 15% in battle, so for the remainder of battle, and it gives himself 25% attack and defense in battle. So we're actually going to activate that now. Buff everybody up. Give you those. Give you these, which will just support everybody else. Again, like I said, that gives everybody the additional 25% on top of the 25% we just gave them. So now looking at the stats defensively, everybody has got really, really high defense. He's sitting on 700,000. He's sitting on 516,000 almost, and this guy's sitting on, I think he just had 300,000. But they all raise their defense on their supers. This guy stacks defense on his super. He's already over a 10 mil attack stat, if you guys didn't just see that. And that's without stacking his attack at all, but just straight support from the rest of the rotation and the rest of this team. And then we have this Ginyu here, the LR, which is sitting at almost 15 million. Not Link level 10 either, by the way. He's only like 3 or 4, if that. And he wasn't a 24 key super, and he's sitting at almost 15 million. And 9 million on his second super attack. So this Ginyu LR, well, this LR Ginyu actually has 3 to 6 different super attacks, if that makes sense. 10 million for the free-to-play one that you get from Battlefield Memory. Double super? Nope. Okay, so that LR Ginyu actually does have 3 different super attacks. Where is he? Right there. If you click into it, he has a 12 key super, a 15 key super, and an 18 key super. But the 12 key has a 50% chance to becoming a stronger super attack that greatly raises attack. And then also on the 15 key is the same exact thing that has a 50% chance of greatly raising the defense instead of the attack. You can hit them both. I don't know what the differences are, honestly, in seeing them. I just know they actually do different things. But the main super attack you want to be hitting every turn is the Ultra Super, because it massively raises attack and defense every turn for that one turn, which would be 100%. So you really want to really stack up those stats for that one turn, especially in a fight like this. So the Raccoon and Goldo are sitting at 600,000 defense with the, there's another stack on defense with their guard activated. So they're just going to be tanking like crazy in slot 1. And then we got the Jason Birder in slot 2 who are going to raise their attack and defense on their super once they super attack. Which I forgot to check if Raccoon and Goldo stack attack and defense. I think they do, just like these two. And these guys also aren't Link level 10 as well either. So now we're on to the Legendary Super Saiyan stage, which we have type disadvantage actually. And the thing that kind of sucks here is we're going to have to lose links with the one at the end because of the fact that they rotated off. But if I go like this, they'll now have all that extra defense. So they're sitting at 537,000 defense. The AGL Ginyu sitting at about 730,000 defense, and these guys are sitting at just above 300,000. But they will greatly raise their attack and defense on their super. So they'll build up their defense a bit. But let's see. Yep, they raise attack and defense on their super attacks every time they attack. So that's kind of nice. So they will build themselves up after taking their max passive built up from taking those hits. They still will, at that turn, build up their super attack, or defense, I'm sorry, for that one turn. Which is way beneficial, especially with guard built in. So almost a 9 mil attack stat from this Ginyu, and who's just continually building up his defense. I mean, this man is just going to have over 1 million defense here probably by the end of the turn or beginning of the next turn when he comes around. And these guys, 15 million almost again. Let's see what they can hit. And they're massively raising their attack and defense right now. So that 500,000 defense they had is now drastically higher. I don't know the full multiplication on it, and here's an additional greatly raising defense, I think. Super. I was hoping they would have supered Ginyu. I built mine with like really high dodge, so that's kind of why he was dodging quite a bit there. I think I gave him 13 dodge, just because he... And also that Ginyu does in fact have damage reduction prior to attacking, which is kind of nice. Alright, so let's see here really quick. Yeah, 650,000 defense pre-super attack. And they get 10% attack and defense with each attack received. And they also... guards all attacks and a high chance of stunning when there is an ally whose name is Ginyu attacking in the same turn. Okay, so there has to be a Ginyu, which there is right there. Which generally there is one almost every turn. That's why I kind of built the team this way. But they have a high chance otherwise, but there's a guaranteed guard when there is a Ginyu on the rotation, which there's the guard activating. Let's see how much they take on this super attack. I don't think they'll take a whole lot. Less than 100k, that's really good actually. And that's, again, mind you, that is with the support from the Ginyu at the end of the rotation, so an additional 59%. So that's kind of really nice. And a double super from the Raccoon and Goldo. That's, again, this is the ideal situation you want to get with this Ginyu Force team, is having them just completely get stronger as the fight progresses. And once they hit their cap, they're still really, really good. They could probably do, in my opinion, some of the more difficult content with these units. as long as everything falls right at the beginning of the battle. That's the thing, is the beginning of the fight is really where you're going to need the, like right here, getting constant supers. This is where you're going to need everything to work in your favor. Because once everything does work in your favor and their defenses have started to build up, you don't have to worry about them taking that much damage anymore. They can almost tank it or dodge most of the time. Oh, nope, double super. I was hoping for a double. He still took a lot of damage. If he would have got supered, it might have been GG. Let's activate the transformation here really quick.
That body of yours is pretty strong. Yes, and I think I'll take it! Change! We've made a trade. Your body is mine now!
Alright, so theoretically these two are the best linking partners right now, but I kind of don't want them to be together. I would rather keep them separated. Yeah, as you can see, their stats are not maxed out at all links-wise. So we're going to let them stay separated a bit. We're going to give this to you. You just need to get rainbow key spheres. So there's one, boom, buffs everybody else up stat-wise. So now he's sitting at almost 800,000 attack, and now this Ginyu will in fact raise attack on his super, not defense. So with me getting him almost 800k defense, that's kind of pretty good for at the moment I wanted to be at. Attacks are effective against all types for this one turn. He gets additional 50% attack when performing a super, launch an additional attack that high chance of becoming a super attack, plus an additional attack and defense to 10% up to 50, and chance of performing a critical hit and chance of evading enemy's attack plus 10% up to 50 with each attack performed. And if you have a JSON rotation, he gets the built-in foresight, so he can see when the enemy is super. So every time he supers, he builds up his crit chance, builds up his attack and defense, and builds up his dodge. So this Ginyu is still really, really good. So now he's at 20% crit, 20% attack and defense, 20% dodge, 30%. And he's also stacking his attack for by 30% each time he supers, just alone, not counting his passive. So that Ginyu just went up by 30% off 2 supers, and then passive 30% again. So that Ginyu just almost, I would say, went up by 100+% attack stat just in that one turn alone. And there you guys have it. Ginyu and the Ginyu Force are stronger than Broly. Can confirm. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time for more Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle, when we try to find out, is the Ginyu Force stronger than Bio Broly too? See you guys then.